everybody. Hi, it's the Recruiting Animal here on September 27th, 2017. It's almost the end of September, and today I want to talk to you about visionaries. You know, people say I'm obsessed with them, but really, we see it in our recruitosphere, let's say, all the time, and no one ever defines what it really means. It takes someone like me to do that for you, and that's what I'm going to do right here today. I think a vision is the ability to see the far-reaching ramifications. I hope that's not too big a word for you. The far-reaching ramifications, consequences of some fact based on a small bit of evidence that no one else takes seriously. Here's an example from Godfather Part 2. I'm going to choose movies as my examples because, you know, I'm talking to the common people, and that's what they understand. Michael Corleone goes to Cuba at the very end of 1958, just a few days before New Year's, and he sees in the street a rebel, an anti-Batista rebel, blow himself up like a suicide bomber to kill some police, and he concludes from that the rebels are going to win because of the level of commitment of their soldiers, so to speak. So he refuses to invest in Cuba. I would say that this is a visionary insight. One event leads to a major conclusion. There's one problem, however. Castro took over on January 1st, 1959, just a few days later, right? So it's not like Al Pacino came up with this idea out of nowhere. There was a war going on there, okay? But otherwise, if, you know, he saw something like that happen and he saw, hey, you know, 2 years down the road, there's going to be a change in the government, that would be visionary. Here's another example. I'm going to go on a bit too long today, okay? The Big Short is a movie about the collapse of the stock market in 2008. A guy named Michael Burry, he saw it coming, and he bet the farm on it. He put his money where his mouth was, and everybody was against him. I would say that was visionary. Here's another example. If your office was in the World Trade Center for the 1993 bombing, and you decided to get out of there because you were pretty sure the terrorists were going to try again, yeah, you had more insight than a lot of other people. But I have to ask you something. Even if we agree that Michael Burry had much greater insight than everybody else around one thing, the 2008 crash, does that mean he was a visionary all the time? No! What if you're only a visionary about one thing? Can you call yourself a visionary for the rest of your life? Finally, what is a visionary in recruiting? If you, let's say in October 1993 when the internet went public, yes, that's the right date. If you saw right then that online search would be a major issue in recruiting, I would be willing to call you a visionary. But visionary doesn't simply mean that you're smart or that you've mastered some skill better than everyone else. It's too glorious a title, okay? It's too darn vague. And if you're going to call yourself a visionary, then it's kind of bogus. At least that's what it means to me, okay? And if you're interested in this visionary stuff, I want you to stay tuned to, let me open Jerry's mic first. He shows up way too late. Jerry! What show is this?
I can't do it. I can't do it today.
You are a creep. Shame on you.
I can't do it.
Shame on you, Jerry.
Do you even care about me anymore?
What is this?
I can't do it. The Recruiting Animal.
No, thank you, Jerry. Thanks, no to you.
Hey.
Yeah, screwed it up for me
No.
again.
I got some situations going on here.
Yeah. No, thanks for letting me know. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. And the guest, you know, 2 minutes. I'm asking area code 903. Are you the guest? It's Graham Caulfield in Texas, right? There's no
Graham,
guest.
how's it going?
No Jerry. Nobody's there. Okay. So let me just get on with the show. First of all, as usual, I want to say thank you to my wonderful sponsors, Martin Snyder, PC Recruiter, the Swiss Army knife of recruiting software, and Nin Tran of Hire Tool, HIRETUAL, the super-duper sourcing tool. Nin, at this moment, is down at SourceCon, which I believe is in Austin, Texas. This year, I want to give a shout-out, of course, to our good friend Kathy Manis, who just woke up from her coma a couple of weeks ago, but I noticed she said on Facebook that she's frightened about her health. Well, Kathy, if you feel scared, I want you to just remember that you've got us rooting for you here on the Recruiting Animal Show. The person who's shuffling stuff in the background, shut up, okay? That's not for this show. Put yourself on mute, you creep.
Unless that is Kathy.
No, Kathy can't do it either. Okay,
really?
Look, I don't care if it's, hospital
there goes our support.
Nobody makes noise. Don't call into the show if you want to make noise,
then who's doing that?
It stopped. Okay, look, I have a question for everybody before we get going. It's an important strategic question. Is bullshit an okay word for people to use on the Recruiting Animal Show? Anybody got an opinion? All the lines are open. Is bullshit okay, or is it, too risque? No comment? Okay.
There's a drinking game called Bullshit. I'd say if you're referencing that, it's okay.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the guest. Was that the guest? Bad word? Okay. The guest is Jeff Anderton. Did you show up? Jeff, did you show up?
I dialed in, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, you might have done it before 12 o'clock. Thank you for coming eventually. You're not in an airport, are you?
I am not in an airport. I wish I was, though. That'd mean I'd be going somewhere.
No, we had that last week. Trust me, you don't wish that.
Yeah,
that was no good.
Yeah, Jeff's Twitter address is Jeff, Jeff, _Anderton, Anderton. Is it enough just to say you're a tech?
Who cares? Who uses Twitter anymore?
Nobody does care,
Shut
really.
up.
I haven't even logged in
stop
there in
it with
2
the
years.
Yeah, stop it. We don't care about people's Twitter addresses. We just don't.
I agree. I don't even care.
Why don't we hand out his
Twitter.
fax number? Give us his fax number, too, while you're at it.
Well, I have
How about his old landline that he hasn't used in 7 years?
Did anybody see Back to the Future? Or Back to the Future Part 2, they've got a fax in the wall at everybody's house. Was that visionary? I mean, people didn't get faxes, but they did get electronic mail. Everybody has it in their homes. Was that visionary? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I was thinking about it when I was writing my intro, my little monologue. Okay, so is it enough, Jeff, to say that you're a tech recruiter? Is that enough of an introduction for you?
I do tech recruiting. I also do sales recruiting, and I do, administrative.
Are you on a speakerphone? Are you on a speakerphone? Are you on a speakerphone?
I'm not really on it, but I'm using it. How's that? Is that better?
Put your mouth closer to a receiver.
If I was on a speakerphone, I would break it.
Don't make me go crazy at the beginning of a show. I'm mad enough already,
You do that naturally. You do that every week anyways.
I've got good reason. Okay, look, I just read an article. So why are you – so it's tech recruiters too much. Is there something important you have to say about what you do?
Yeah, like I was saying, I do recruit some technical people. I recruit salespeople and then some project managers / operations / support people, kind of those 3 areas.
Okay, good. I was going to say it's great to have you back, okay? Anyway, I just read an article. Listen to this called, and this is why I asked that question, Email Recruiting is Bullshit. And here's what it says. Come on, recruiters. Most candidates are drowning in email. So forget about it. Even personalized email is no darn good. Just pick up the phone and call the person to arrange an ideal time to talk. She will be pleasantly surprised that you took the time to call her to discuss what she needs.
I think they just rotate between 3 articles. They rotate between email's no good, LinkedIn is no good, and phone is no good. So one article will say, don't call anyone because they don't answer and they don't return voicemails. Then another article says, don't email anyone because they get too many emails and won't return them. And then another article says, don't use LinkedIn messaging because nobody returns them because they're inundated. So I don't know how people get recruited anymore because I read an article that says all 3 methods are no good every other week.
It's freeing up a lot of my time, personally. I mean,
what do you use?
To take all that advice, I mean,
I use all 3, and then I use all 3 to ask people who they know. I mean, I don't think anything's changed. It's a numbers game with all 3.
Animal. Hold on. Animal. Just to go back to your latest infatuation with this whole visionary thing. Just got a job description from a customer. And by customer, I mean a company that's actually paid me money and currently owes me money. So just to clarify that, not every company is a customer or client. The requirement, the first line of the requirement, drive the long-term product vision and key drivers of the new product strategy. Are they looking for a visionary?
No, they want someone to follow their plan.
Vision? How could you know what the product vision is if you...
Nope.
I'm just telling you.
That's just marketing.
Somebody else is supporting me. Okay, Jerry, put that one to the side. That's a dumb example. This guy was just saying something interesting. What's your primary?
I thought that's the thing about this show is people talk about interesting stuff, and we talk all over.
I use all 3. Well, 4 if you count, asking people who they know.
Hold on, no. If you're recruiting somebody. You see someone on LinkedIn that you think is good. Do you phone them, or do you email them, or do you text them?
Well, if I'm connected, it depends if I'm connected to them. If they're a first level, I'll see what contact info I have. If I have a cell phone, I text, which everyone's it's a cell phone. If there's no cell, I'll email, and if there's neither, I'll send a message. But usually, if there's just an email, I'll send a LinkedIn message, and then I'll send a separate email. And then see which one they reply to, and then I know that's the one they would prefer to communicate through.
What if you've never had any contact with this person before? Okay? You don't have an email address. You don't have a cell phone number.
It depends on the situation. Then I see if I know somebody who knows them, or I'll see if I can find their work email and do a, hey, who do you know email, maybe call them at work, leave a voicemail. I guess it just depends. It depends if I'm in an introverted or extroverted mode. If I'm making a lot of phone calls, I'm likely to pick up the phone. If it's at night or on the weekend or first thing in the morning or after lunch when I'm kind of dragging, I'll probably just shoot him a LinkedIn message in mail, or if I have an email, I'll shoot that.
Well, that's a novel answer. I have to say I haven't heard that. But what is this you're saying that you're going to send them?
Yeah,
you're going to send them a who do you
know?
know?
Like then it's
email.
not like. Well, if I email somebody at work, I'm not going to say, "Hey, are you interested in this job?" Because I just think that's a little tacky. But I'll say, "Hey, I'm working on this job. I thought you might have a friend or previous coworker who might be interested in talking to me about it." And it's obviously a job they would be interested in. So, they'll either say, "I'm interested," or "I know somebody," or "Don't respond," or "Don't email me at work." One of those 4 or 5 responses.
Okay. So, Maureen, are you still with us? Is there anybody on Twitter? Jerry said nobody's using Twitter.
I'm on Twitter.
Are there any questions on Twitter for me? I've
been putting questions out. Who do you know emails?
No, I'm not talking about you, okay? Okay.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go back on mute. Don't make me angry.
They do work.
Okay, look. So you send this phony thing. What's the question? What's the
What do you mean phony?
headline you use?
What do you mean phony?
Well, you really want to recruit the person, and you're pretending to look for a referral. Okay, that's phony.
No, I'm not pretending anything. I want to recruit them or someone they know if they're not interested. So there's no pretending involved.
Yeah, but you don't say that you want to recruit them. You say it's obvious that the position is suitable for them, but you don't say that. You ask
I
for
actually
something
don't
else.
even say it's
that
obvious
is phony.
That it's suitable
That's
to them.
phony. And look, I don't
How
mind
is it phony?
Phony's okay. Phony's okay. Don't be afraid
how
of the
is it
word.
Phony,
it's
though?
phony.
Define phony in this context.
You want one thing, you're asking for another. That's phony. Okay?
I don't think it is. Because if they're not interested, I want to know if they know
Okay, you're right.
who is.
I'm not going to argue that point. What's your subject line?
Because you just lost the argument, so that was a smart decision.
Yeah, I lost.
Carry on.
No big deal. What's your subject line? What's your subject line?
In the email?
Yeah.
Or the LinkedIn message?
The email.
Well, it depends, because HubSpot just put out a report that no subject message lines get a better response than any other single type of subject line. Now, if you break it down by category, they've done testing that certain jobs, certain candidates, certain industries respond better, but a lot of times I just leave it blank.
No way.
Yes way.
Does anybody want to comment on that? A blank email?
I want to see that
and
study.
People
What
does it say on there?
Yeah, it was either
subject?
HubSpot or Inside Sales.
Yeah.
Here, I'll Google it quick, see if I can find it.
No, I'll pull it up, but I'm a
No, you don't. You're the guest. You're the guest. You pay attention to
well,
me,
we
not
use
to
the term
Jim,
guest
okay?
loosely on this show. We use that term loosely.
Sometimes.
Don't we?
Today, sometimes.
17
Okay,
email
but look-
subject lines, sales reps swear by and why. HubSpot, April 3rd, 2017. I think this is it. But go ahead. I'll be quiet.
Listen, I got
that's
listeners.
a
Please,
clickbaity
don't,
title.
please pay attention to me, okay? So Maureen is actually the only person who emails me without subject lines, and it says no subject. Is that what it's going to say at the end, at the other end, when you don't put in a subject? It'll just say no subject?
I don't know. I'm not on the other end, thankfully.
Well, you should know
Blank.
if you're sending emails with no
Research
subject
from
line.
HubSpot Sales revealed that no subject line is the most powerful subject line of all. An analysis of 6.4 million emails showed that messages with a blank subject line were opened 8% more often than those with subject lines. So what do you think of that, Animal?
I think
6.4 million compared to your visionary type theory. Which one's correct?
Strong.
If you go and you search,
This
HubSpot,
changes
there
everything
are
for me.
40
Yeah,
articles
I mean,
about subject lines.
6.4 million email study? What did you study? What's your study based on?
There are 40 articles about HubSpot lines, subject lines. They put one out every week. Every week.
Well, I just read you verbatim what they said, that no subject line gets open more. It gets open 8% more than any other email with a subject line. That's based on 6.4 million emails.
How do you define open?
What do you think I define open?
Oh, geez.
Well, I know how I define open. I know how you track email. Hey, if
so
you don't understand
where's your rebuttal to my defense
Here's
of your
the
statement
rebuttal.
that you don't believe that?
How do they define open? How do they track
They
open
open the
in
email.
marketing program?
What do you
No,
mean? How
You
do
click
define
on it.
it?
You click on it.
You
cannot-
open the
let's not argue
email.
about
That's what
petty things.
open
No,
means.
you guys are totally off. You have no clue what you're talking about.
Okay, hold on a second.
What if you
Wait,
have
wait,
it
let's hear
just
not
to
how you
get a
track open.
preview?
That is just not how it's done. You can't trust people saying that and say, how did they track it? Let me see the code, and I'll tell you how they tracked it. Hey, sorry, guys.
So you're saying HubSpot, this HubSpot article is incorrect
Okay,
based
wait
on
a
their
sec. You guys,
6.4
hold on.
million
Okay,
emails.
it's fine.
Marketer.
Okay,
Guys,
it's
hold
been
on.
challenged.
I just did a trial
Don't make me mute.
It was a Reddit rep endorsed it as well. So HubSpot's
Don't make
incorrect
me
in their
mute.
study.
Okay, don't make me
Hey,
mute
that's
anybody.
online
Okay,
sources. It's got to
Who are
be
you talking to now?
Anything written online to sell stuff. No.
They're not
Okay, I got
selling
the point. We
anything.
got
In
the
fact,
point.
they're telling you you don't need to buy people's studies of emails for what the most catchy subject line is. They're saying forget whatever email you got saying this is the
That's
best
not what
line.
they're
Don't
saying.
use
You are
any line.
vastly
That's what they're
overstating
saying.
If you
I
look
like
at the
that, and I'm buying it. I'm believing it. I'm feeling it.
if you look at their
I kinda like it
website,
too.
they show you the source for everything they're talking about, and it's different sources. It's not just them.
I just sent myself a test email just to see what it looked like without a subject line. And I didn't ended up opening it. And I knew what was in there.
That's amazing.
So if I can dupe myself,
I open every email
I'm
without
in.
a subject line. I email so many people and leave so many voicemails, I don't know who's getting back to me by email. Why would I not open an email just because there's no subject line?
mm-hmm.
it might explode. Hey, you know what? People on this show should realize that everybody can't talk at the same time, because I get the complaints about it. People say, I'm never listening to your show again because everybody's talking over each other and I can't make it out.
Things on your show, not just that.
Yeah, so what?
Fox News.
Like, this is a great get. Cutting me up. Okay. Here's a question related to.
I'm
going to
start taking a knee during your monologue. How about that?
Oh, you know what? I was going to talk about that, but
that's funny.
That's okay. You can bend your knee anytime, Jerry. Just don't get on both knees. Okay. Now look, should you know? Here's another related question. Should you know, as a recruiter? Thank you, Jim, for your interjection there, by the way. Should you know what the candidate wants before you call? You said, okay, Jeff, that it's pretty obvious this position is suitable for the person you're sending it to, even if you don't say so. But really, if you've never spoken to somebody before, can you really know that a particular job is going to be rewarding for her?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that someone, would maybe want to make more money than they're making or work for a different company that's better than their company.
Recruiting 101. Gosh, 20 years ago, I was taught never pitch a job because you get a yes or a no. This is Paul Lippman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, always pitch.
Never pitch a job.
Well, it
never
depends how you
pitch
pitch a job. If you talk about specific things within the industry, like a lot of jobs, with salespeople, there's a lot of the reasons they switch jobs. Good salespeople, there's like a top 5 list, a top 10 list. If you reference maybe 2 or 3 of those things, and those things are going on in their world when you email them, then your timing's right, and that has them kind of piques their curiosity or
an example.
Their
Give me an example, and I'm going to go to an
things.
ad. Give me an example.
Like
or do you want time to think about it while I'm...
changing what the size of an enterprise account is or a national account is, changing a commission structure.
Hold on, wait a sec. No. Are you coming with inside dope about that company? You say, hey, I recently heard that you guys have gerrymandered your sales territories and you got screwed.
Well, that is a strategy. That wasn't the one I was referencing. I mean, if I find that out, I will definitely use that in emails and voicemails and LinkedIn. But I was referencing more in general. So I would say, hey, this company has very large territories for their reps. They have very wide criteria as to how big of the target companies you can contact. Because some companies, they'll change, they'll recruit an enterprise sales rep from a competitor, and to get them over and to keep them happy, they'll kind of lower the level of how many employees or how much annual revenue determines that it's an enterprise account, and it has to go to that person to get them on board. Where then what that does is that hurts the reps that are already there. Now they can't go after those bigger accounts. So I'll reference that in a general way. And it's just, again, it's a timing thing. So if those things are going on in that sales rep's life at that time and I reference that, a lot of times that'll be like, oh, yeah, you know what, they're screwing me on this, screwing me on that. Let me see what this guy has and talk about.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, you're assuming that you're going to know tons about the person's company before you approach someone.
Well, they're a human, and I can learn about their company, and I know their job title. So, I mean, it's not that complicated.
Yes, it is. I want to know. Next question is going to be, how do you find out about the company? First, I'd have to do an ad. Hey, everybody, PC Recruiter is one of my sponsors. They're my biggest sponsor. Thank you, PC Recruiter. And you know what? I have a Facebook group, and I have to say, Jerry's got the best picture that goes with this question. It's him on the back of a boat with a seal right beside him, a seal looking at us with Jerry's face right beside the seal. And whenever I see that picture, I think of this question: what ATS should I use? Every day, people are asking, what ATS should I use? And I see in my mind Jerry and that seal, okay? So I want to hear from you. What should I be telling you about PC Recruiter? I'm already saying that PC Recruiter is diverse. It's good for all kinds of recruiting: direct hire, executive search, temp staffing, everything. It's really good for that. And I always tell you, big or small, we fit them all. You can be a solo recruiter. You can be a massive company with a huge recruiting staff. They love you, okay? And they're going to take good care of you no matter what size you are. So I said 2 things now. They're diverse. They're good for all kinds of recruiting. They're inclusive. They want you if you're big or if you're small. Am I missing anything? I know I've talked before about their partners. they're tech partners. I might mention them later in the show, but they want to serve you too, and they're top rate. Am I missing anything? Please let me know. Please let me know. What can I tell you more that I'm not telling you about PC Recruiter? And if there's anything that I say that I want you to remember, it's this. I do know I want you to remember this. PC Recruiter loves you. Yes, they do. So go check them out at pcrecruiter.net. pcrecruiter.net. Thank you. Going back to our friend Jeff. Yeah.
I dug into that story. I can explain how full of shit it was if anybody wants to hear it.
Okay, as long as you don't go on too long.
It was a 24-year-old at HubSpot who wrote that back in 2014 after studying signals, which is basically glanced at the data. The idea of not having a subject line worked with people who you already knew. So if I send you a note, Animal, you can read it in the preview, which is why you would open it from there. It doesn't apply to cold emails. It doesn't apply to lists that are sent out. It's basically if your mom sent you a note without a subject, you open it. You can go look at archive.org. I'll post it on Recruiting Animal. You guys just don't mess with me in this world. That's right.
Jim, what's your interest in disproving that fact?
That's because if it's true, I wanted to know it. I absolutely wanted to know it because I'm going to start sending them out. But it wasn't true.
Jeff. Well, you have to go ahead. You know what? Next time you come back, we'll call Jim. You'll look for more ammo, and we'll make sure Jim's on the show. Okay.
No, hey, if that's true, I'll believe it. I don't know if that's all true. I don't know if we're looking at the same article. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's leave that topic, please. I'm begging you guys, don't wreck my show. Don't wreck it.
He was trying to do something different, which is really important. And it's better to make a mistake than to do the same old thing and never learn. So, I mean, cheers. Just the study is wrong.
I'm with you guys. I'm enjoying listening to both of you, but I have to move on. I have to go to a new topic, okay? Now, look, Jeff was talking about approaching a candidate with an email or a cold phone call and, telling them something that is relevant to them and knowing what's relevant, what's going to interest them. And he said it's easy to research companies and find out what's going on there, okay? So that was a question I was actually going to ask you. What do you do to research a company to get all this info that, you can use to
you
lure
look
the
for
candidate
articles
away?
online that they're mentioned in, and then even easier is, or more easy, is just to talk to people that work there and just find out what's going on.
Well, give me an example.
Well, you're connected to somebody, you call them, you just ask them, how's it going, how's sales, how's marketing, or sales and marketing aligned, what's the strategy, are they getting you leads, are they getting you intelligence and research, are you doing it all on your own, what's your sales manager like, what's he like to work for, you guys hitting your numbers, what's the competitors like? Like anytime you talk to anyone at Oracle or SAP,
what if you don't know anybody in the company? Because what you're talking about now is someone who's a songbird. My friend called those people songbirds. They'll tell you anything. They'll have a long conversation with you and try to help you. What if you don't have that kind of contact in a company already? You want to approach someone in that company. How can you get information?
Well, then you just look on LinkedIn and then you just start a conversation with them and just ask them about how their career's going. And I like to say, what's on your wish list? Like, what would interest you, in the future and cause you to think about making a move? And then you talk to them about that, and then you get into the company.
Paul Lipman, are you still here?
I am.
What's your comment on that? If you don't know anybody in a company, okay, can you have ammo to come in? Is there stuff may help you know that your position?
Yikes.
Who's doing that, Jerry?
What's that?
Jerry,
bag of chips?
Stop eating your lunch.
Not me.
Yeah, that's Jerry. Paul Lippman, can you get information so that when you approach somebody that your position is going to appeal to them in advance?
No, I mean I don't know what their hot buttons are. I got to ask them. What's their pushes and pulls? But you got to
that's what I think too.
But
I read an article. I read an article just before the show. You should know that before you call.
How can you know that if you've never talked to the person before?
Well, our guest Jeff is saying there's all kinds of ways to find out.
If they were referred to you, that's the only way you're going to know.
I said 2 ways. You can talk. You can learn about the company and then use that as your intro, or you can intro with what would interest you and then get into the company.
Yeah, Are you open to hearing about an opportunity that's better than what you're currently doing? That's all. That's my opening line. Boom.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What do you think, Jeff, about that opening line? Are you interested in hearing about an opportunity that's better than what you're currently working with? That's a standard line. What do you think, Jeff?
I'm interested in hearing, and I like the line.
Thank you, Pete Lefkowitz. 1986.
We all made money off of Petey.
Yeah, I mean, some questions.
I mean, like that chart flip thing, the handle objections. I just have it at home.
Okay. Okay,
nice.
Jeff Anderton. Do candidates lie to you?
Absolutely. Everybody lies. What type of question is that?
We're certainly got a master's class going on here today, don't we? God.
I think so. I'm going to tell you something.
Liars.
I think there's fantastic info on this show, just as good as you can get from some conference or class, and it's free. Look who's here.
What do you mean by that?
Jerry,
some conference
Paul
or quack?
Littman,
what does
Jeff
that mean?
Anderton.
What does that mean?
What conference are you slamming?
Yeah, and what
I'm
quack
not slamming
are you
any
referencing?
conference. I'm just saying.
You just did.
You know, people say.
You
didn't
put that
slam
on
any conference.
Well, you inferred that this phone call is as good or better than a conference or a quack. So we want to know what conferences were better than.
Did I say quack? Okay, look.
You did.
I'm going to say
conference or quack.
Who
I'm siding with the animal on this one.
Are you calling Paul Lefkowitz a quack?
No, I didn't say that.
And
he's the only guru that was brought up
we
today.
should all meet at the Tall Pony Ranch.
God.
Look,
y'all are
guys,
tough on this man.
Don't make me have to edit out half the show.
He invites
Jeff Anderton,
this abuse. He thrives off
Jeff
it.
Anderton, do you want to tell us some examples of how candidates lie to you and what you do about it?
Yeah,
or do
they
you
tell you they're not interviewing anywhere else. They tell you that, they want $80,000 base, and then you get it, and then they say, no, I'd really want $100,000. They tell you their wife's okay with the job, and then she's not. They tell you they hate their boss, and then their boss has a talk with them after you give them an offer, and they decide to stay. What don't they lie about? They tell you how, they tell you their average deal size is more than it is. They brought in $1.2 million last year, and they only brought in $800,000. Take your pick.
And how do you discover that, and what do you do when you discover it?
Well, you can ask questions in different ways. Maybe, I'll take notes the first time they say stuff and then go back and ask it again or verify it again in either the same way or a different way on another call and see if they give me
Can you remember one
numbers.
Actual instance? Can you remember what you just gave us an interesting list? Can you remember one actual incident where somebody lied and show us how you dealt with it?
Yeah, well, actually, I had a copier rep told me his average deal size was I think he said it was $42,000 or $44,000, and then when I was prepping him for the interview, he told me it was $28,000, and I had my notes there, and I asked him, and then it kind of just went. It didn't really go haywire, but he was kind of I could see he was fumbling a little, and when we did the math of everything, it did seem like it was somewhere in between. And, I said, well, just be careful when they're asking you this because I've already, emailed them and said this, and now you're saying this, and now we're figuring it out to this. He's like, well, some stuff was about to close, but it didn't, so maybe I included that in the first figure. Just stuff like that.
He's a liar.
That was an excellent example. Excellent example.
Yeah,
Thank you. Handled it diplomatically, but yet let the guy know that, hey, I am paying attention. Your story has changed. You've got an interview coming up, and it better not change there because they already know what I told them. Fantastic.
And then he took the typical
you could end the show right now, and we could all walk away having learned something.
Yeah, and then you just blame it on different accounting methods.
Yeah.
Okay. but you know the guy's not trustworthy. You're not ruling him or her out at that point.
That doesn't mean they're not trustworthy, man.
He was kind of counting a deal that he thought was going to close and then that would up his averages and
he wanted to sound like a good candidate. He wanted to be qualified. He's interested in this job. Help this guy. He's a wild animal.
Yeah.
Man, you animal. You act like once you catch anybody, you just nail them to the wall.
Yeah, you do like to persecute.
Man, I just
okay.
Weekly, I'm reminded.
Does anybody think there's a huge red flag here? No. Okay.
Wait. But before you now, throughout the rest of the week, say everybody on the Animal Show encourages candidates to lie all the time. There
Not
are
lie,
sometimes
just recalculate and make the numbers accurate.
Yeah.
Is like encouraging them to breathe?
Some lies are different than others, Animal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, gee,
no, some of them are just exaggerations without really looking into the details, just so they can be a little more qualified. Other lies are lies that show us that they're really not interested in a change. Whether it's my wife just told me I have to pick up the kids from school this afternoon. I can't make it to that interview. See, that's a lie that I'm going to talk to somebody about their interest level versus his numbers were wrong on the copier machine he thought he sold but actually didn't sell. Huge difference. And if you can't see the difference between the two, get out of this business!
I just asked them the very diplomatic. I say, help me to understand something. And then I'll say, you said this and you did this, or these numbers don't add up. Help me to explain it to me, just so I understand, so I could better represent you.
That's the best way to tell somebody you caught them lying without being a dick about it.
Yeah,
hey, help me understand this just a little bit. I'm confused.
The thing is, whether when you catch them lying, is whether you feel comfortable sending them out to the company. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Jeff Anderton, the guest. You have an MSN. I asked you for your email address yesterday, and you gave me an ms.msn address. Is that what you use for business as well?
No.
Okay. Just wondered. Last week we had a big discussion about...
You consider this business?
No, well, I asked you if you're using that for business as well.
Just kidding.
Last week we had a big discussion on whether it's okay to use an AOL.com address, and then I see you've got an MSN address, which isn't really much different. So, in fact, I've almost never seen them. So I just wondered why you were using it.
Almost never? What does that mean?
Yeah, help me make a note of that.
Okay.
Does that mean sometimes?
Explain that. So less than 10, more than. Give me some data. Give me some numbers.
Maybe one a year.
What means
I don't know,
almost never?
1 a year.
One a year. Over how many years?
1 a year.
Over how many years?
For infrequently.
Yeah, very infrequently. Okay. Do you use
there
an online
seems to be a lot of gray area in that answer. I don't know.
Hey, let's get some practical stuff.
How honest are you here?
Scheduler?
Are you fabricating numbers just to make a statement on a radio show?
I'm not applying for a job, okay? So I can lie without consequence. Okay.
So you are lying. You've just admitted that you're lying right now.
Yeah. Sometimes I lie. Yeah.
So what do you lie
Don't
about
wreck
the
most?
show?
Don't wreck the show.
I think I'm providing enjoyment for the show.
I don't think so.
We want to know what you lie
scheduler.
about, Animal. What do you lie about? You're so busy trying to find out what candidates and recruiters lie about. We want to know, what do you lie about?
Sometimes I'll make something up and I'll say I read it, okay? There.
Like, what do you make up?
Like that thing I read to you. I read to you at the beginning. I read an article about email, and it essentially said what I said, but it didn't say, the title wasn't Email Recruiting is Bullshit. It was How to Approach a Candidate. That was the actual title of the article, okay?
So you embellished it.
Are you happy now?
I am, actually.
Yeah, okay.
I got you to admit something you lied about on air. I'm pretty proud of myself.
Look, I want to give some content, some takeaway content to the people listening to the show.
Well, they can take away that you lie to us. We've established that, right?
They already
so
know that,
thing.
okay? If you're a regular listener, you kind of you know that already. Now listen to me. Do you use an online scheduler? Yes or no?
No.
Why not?
So
maybe
the
you don't
thing
know
with
about
Calendly, it drives me nuts because they make it seem like it's so easy, but next thing you know, I'm clicking 5 freaking times. I'm entering all this info. No, just send me a freaking email. Can you do Tuesday at 2? No. How about Wednesday at 4? Yes, done. And then I schedule it and send out an out. They trick you. They make you think it's so easy, and then it's easy for the people who send the calendar invite, but then when you have to confirm a time, I have to enter all this crap. I don't like it.
What are you talking about? What do you mean, who has to enter what?
The last Calendly invite I got, I had to enter my name, my email. There was some other thing that got sent to me. I had to click to confirm. It just annoyed me. Just shoot me an email and I'll set a reminder in Outlook.
Okay. I don't know. I'm tired of going back and forth. It's a lot easier. I get about 10% response on Calendly. Works out great.
Cool.
10%? That's good? That's good?
That's what I was thinking.
It's a lot better than, it's a lot fewer than
I get
having,
a 90% with Outlook emails. Hey, can you do this day? No. Can you do this day? No. Can you do this day?
Yeah, it takes away some of the percentage.
100%.
Yeah, I said 90 just to be modest.
When I say, well, here's the thing. If I'm actually emailing somebody directly, I get that. But I'll put Calendly in my email, in my recruiting emails, and I get maybe 10% of the responses that want to talk to me will use the Calendly. Most say, yeah, call me.
Because Tyron Giuliani over in Japan, he says if I remember correctly, he says if you use Calendly, you'll save a week of hours, 40 hours in a year of nonsense kind of dickering over times and scheduling. And so I'm surprised to hear Jeff Anderton is also, I assume, an expert recruiter, maybe not a visionary.
Definitely not a visionary and definitely not an expert.
To condemn it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't be so quick
before I move on
to encourage us all to avoid nonsense and dickering, because this show would go right down the drain.
I text with a lot of candidates too, so texting to me is even easier.
Okay.
Hey, text me when you can go outside and talk, and then I'll call you as soon as I get it.
I think he's more of an expert that he's letting on.
Oh, maybe so. Do you try to sound enthusiastic on a cold call? That's something Rich Rosen does, and I want you to think of that while I do my ad for Hire Tool. HIRETUAL. Hire Tool. It's like a sneeze. Hire Tool. But I say Hire Tool, and so do lots of other people. And Hire Tool is the super duper recruiting tool. Recruiting tool. Okay, I'm no visionary, that's for sure. But Nin Tran and the whole Hire Tool crew are down at SourceCon in Austin. So if you're there and you're listening to this show, go and say hi to them and say that you heard about them here. Okay? Because Hire Tool is a full-service sourcing tool. That's why they're down there. You tell it what you want, and it writes search strings for you, so you can be stupid. You don't have to be able to write Boolean search strings yourself, and even not stupid, just ignorant, okay? It does it for you. You can search Facebook, GitHub, LinkedIn, and a pile of other relevant websites as well very easily. It dumbs it down for you. I know maybe they don't like me insulting people that way, but I need dumb stuff. I need beginner stuff. I'm not smart. I'm not a thought leader. I'm not a visionary. So I need tools that make it easy to do great sourcing. And that's what Hire Tool does for you. HIRETUAL. One more thing. When you get the results back, it ranks the candidates for you, who's best down to who's worst. It tells you what they might be earning, and if the tool thinks it's time for them to leave. Okay? So it gives you a lot of extra guest information about that as well. HIRETUAL. Hire Tool. Hire Tool. Hire Tool. Back to my guest, Jeff Anderton. Do you try to sound enthusiastic or breathless about the search you're working on when you call somebody Jeff Anderton? Well, excited. However,
I don't think breathless has ever been
I got something for you. You'll never believe it.
Not initially. I mean, I just keep it professional and maybe mirror and match them a little. Like if they're soft-spoken, I'll go that route. If they're more energetic, I'll go that route. But then down the road, I will get enthusiastic about things if I feel like they don't realize what opportunity they're looking at, or they're kind of letting a negative emotion affect them in a way that I don't think is best for them. I'll get enthusiastic then.
So you'll get enthusiastic and give them pep talks once you yourself believe that this is a great job for them. Is that right?
Yeah, it's like Steve, look, if you stay where you're at, you're never going to make more than this. You're in your comfort zone. It's time to make a move, and this is as good of a move as you're going to be able to make in the foreseeable future. Mm-hmm. Say something like that. See what they say.
How do you know that Steve's not? How do you know Steve's never going to make any more money in his current position?
How do you know he is?
That's not an answer.
That's
my next question.
That's my response.
Okay. Korn Ferry says that women earn the same as men in the same jobs. Do you agree?
I read that today, yeah, except for STEM, right?
Yeah, no, STEM for every job, but there are not as many women in STEM. But they make this as far as Korn Ferry said they make the same as men in the same jobs, okay? So just curious to know what you thought. Are you afraid of being disliked by candidates or clients?
What do you mean afraid?
God.
Well,
great question.
I
like this guy.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, he thinks the same way that I do. Some of these questions are phrased really only to be headline and shocking questions when they shouldn't even be asked.
Ambiguous.
Yeah. Are you afraid? Are you scared?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you afraid to ask too many questions or challenge people with the client's giving you information? You say, wait a second, you want this, you want that, you want that. Are you going to challenge that client, or are you afraid you're going to alienate her and she's going to pull the job or something like that?
I mean, I'll let you slide with the vague words just because it's your show, but to answer the question, it depends on the situation. It depends on how good of a client this has been in the past, which contact within the client I'm talking to, what type of job we're recruiting, what's going on with the candidates. I mean, if I'm going to try to blow something up just to see what happens, I'll do it in a professional way. But yeah, I will say, hey, Susie, we can't go 3 days without any feedback from an interview. I said, that makes me look dumb to my candidate, or if it's another recruiter in the company, that makes me look dumb to that recruiter, then that recruiter looks dumb to the candidate, then we get a bad reputation. So we need to hear, next business day, if somebody interviewed with you, we need to hear something. Even if it's, hey, I'm super busy, I'll get you an email tonight with feedback, or let's talk tomorrow. But that's probably the most typical is getting feedback from an interview. That's
and can I just add something? I mean, just on the topic, I doubt Animal will ask the question, so I'm just going to throw this in. You can, and using that as a specific example, you can't even say that unless you've spoken with the customer previously about, hey, what is the process? And you've agreed that you'll hear from them, say, within a day. A day is reasonable. So until you've had that agreement, you can't even call them on the carpet for being 3 days without feedback if you've never discussed it.
Well,
so,
you're right.
No,
you're right.
Wrong.
You can't call them on the carpet.
You're
but
wrong.
You can reference.
I'm wrong. You
say,
suck, Animal.
You could say, hey,
God.
maybe if we didn't talk about this up front, or if you forget, or I didn't make myself clear, here's what happens if we don't get timely feedback from you, and this is how we define feedback as timely. But you're right. I mean, it is good to talk about those things up front, but
you have to. Otherwise, you have no license to say this sucks. Because
and I'm not saying I don't bring that up front, but sometimes
I don't.
Sometimes they forget. Sometimes there's so many things going on they don't even remember
throwing that out
talked
for the
about it.
Listeners in Rio Linda.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's one example.
Okay. Well, if you've got more, I'm willing to listen. But it sounds like, you're really hesitant to criticize these people, but you'll.
I haven't criticized somebody in 25 years, dude. Where does criticizing someone even come into play? Do you find yourself, Animal, criticizing your customers?
Listen, Susie, are you living in the real world? I mean, 3 days, not a word back.
I bet your long-term, lifelong customer list is pretty long.
Yeah. You making an offer or not? Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Why are you wasting my time? This is a bunch of shit. Oops.
And then if they're rude to you, can always. This one's fun. You say, you know what, Mary? It's okay if you don't want to work with me. Recruiting's an interesting industry because every company serves a purpose. You're either a client or you're a source. So thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great week.
Ow.
That's where we.
That's an interesting thing.
Ouch.
How long?
That's where our paths split.
Jeff.
And I don't bring that out often. Just every once in a while when somebody's really rude for no reason.
Good way to get a bad mark on your ethical black eye there.
What do you mean, ethical black eye? What's an ethical black eye?
If you tell your clients that, you're like the mafia.
Who said they were a client? Who said they were a client?
You either pay me every week, or I'm going to steal from you. I mean,
I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
That's what it implies.
That's what you implied. I said it in a professional manner. I just gave them some information about the recruiting industry.
But let's be practical here. How many times have you actually said that to us? My guess
in my
is
life,
maybe once.
Maybe 7 or 8 times.
7 or 8.
And I've been doing this for 15 years. So once every other year.
It's still a bit much, but it's within your wheelhouse. Do it.
Okay,
how long? They thought it was funny. They were like, I never thought of it like that. That's a good point.
Okay, let's move on. Look, how long should I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to do an ad, and you'll have time to think about it. How long should a recruiter own a candidate? Like usually recruiters say, if I present someone to you today, you can't hire that person for the next 12 months without paying me.
I start with 2 years in my contract.
Let's get to that. Let me do an ad, and we'll come back to you, and we'll have an extended discussion about it. Hi, everybody. I want to talk about my good friends at PC Recruiter again. You know what?
Pep it up, dude. Seriously, that.
Really?
Start again. Oh, that was horrible.
Hey, everybody.
I wouldn't pay for that ad.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, PC
yeah, there
Recruiter.
You go.
Is that how you want me to sound, Jerry?
Yeah.
PC Recruiter. Yeah, they know what you want even before you call them. You know why? Because they know what everybody wants, because they're the Swiss Army knife of recruiting software. They are good for every kind of recruiting, and I want to tell you something else that I didn't say a few minutes ago. They are so configurable that they are going to suit you. There's lots of people. Paul Lippman is on the show today, and if I'm not mistaken, he uses PC Recruiter. Paul, am I right? Paul, you still with us?
Well, this would be a paid endorsement because he gave me a free month for being so nice to him. But yes, it's very configurable.
Okay, and is that what you like the most about PC Recruiter?
No, I think customer service is what I like the most.
Tell us a bit about that.
They've got, you got a problem, they're going to fix it. You got
what
a question,
type of problem?
They're going to answer it.
Give us an
something
example.
Doesn't work right. There's a bug, or you don't understand how to set something up. They got great customer service, great training. It's people. The people behind it is what really, really makes it stand out.
Okay.
Yeah, and the configurability.
Okay. And what questions? People are always asking, what kind of ATS should I buy, or which ATS? What are the important issues? You just said service is the number one issue for you. Anything else?
Reliability, keeping up with new practices, like being able to text people from the with their configuration with one of the phone systems. You can text right from your ATS. It's very nice.
Okay, and are those things that you can know in advance? Did you know that before you purchased, or is that things you found out after?
I think, I don't remember. With the texting piece, I may have read it beforehand. But, yeah, the configuration is very configurable, very easy to use.
Okay. Thank you very much. There you go. I don't have to scream and shout on this ad because you had Paul Littman, a very subdued Paul Littman. I usually think of him as a more enthusiastic kind of guy, but I caught him unawares, I have to admit. But he's a user, and he told you what he likes. It's true, okay? PCRecruiter.net. PCRecruiter.net. Thank you. Thank you, Paul Littman. Back to our guest, Jeff Anderton. Jeff, are you serious?
That was great
you
pronunciation.
Tell people okay. Do you tell, it was enunciation actually, do you tell people in your contract that you own that candidate for 2 years after you're long forgotten? It's September 27th, 2017, and then if August 2019, somebody happens to hire someone, you sent them today, and you've never spoken to that company again, and you find out they hired your candidate, you're going to send them an invoice 2 years from now?
Well, first of all, I don't own any human, so I would change your choice of word with that. Second of all, I have never had a company sign a contract with me, and I've never spoken to them again. So I'm not really sure of your description of how this would play out, but I do have signed contracts that cover me on submitted candidates for 2 years, yes.
Really? Jerry, comment? It's your question, really.
No, I'm not obsessed with this topic like you are with this whole visionary thing.
Oh, God. Yeah, maybe you're finished after 6 or 10 months. You're finished. Wouldn't that
kind of trend me towards the visionary category? Like if I envision them hiring them 23 months from now, that would make me a visionary. If I make it 24 months,
you're a visionary if you can actually get them to pay. Who were you? What candidate? I can't imagine someone.
That's where LinkedIn job updates come in real handy. Like, hey, he just got a job.
Yeah, but
I think I submitted him there like a year ago.
What if they say, look, this candidate was presented by somebody else a month ago, okay? Don't tell us
I submitted him
this person
11
still has
months
a relationship
ago,
with you.
You talked about him with me, and I have emails that show you communicated with me about this candidate.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Who said oh, geez?
Well, no, oh geez, because it's a double-edged sword. We want to protect our referral, but boy, if we submit somebody and someone else had them in there 12 months ago, boy, we get very mad about that, don't we? And
I don't get mad. I got fired. That recruiter did a better job than I did.
You're going to fight it though, but everybody will say
the recruiter didn't do a better job if it was 12 months ago and nothing happened, and then some other position comes across.
No, but he
with
developed a relationship, or the recruiter developed a relationship with the candidate before me and got a contract with the company probably before me and submitted before me. So, in my opinion, that's
and then blew on out of town working with the next fly-by-night customer.
Here's the issue: is it with the company or with the if you have that 1 year relationship with the entire company, and John Smith you talk to today, and 1 year later is the hiring manager, and 1 year later someone else hires the guy, or 6 months later someone else hires the guy from the same company, are you owed a fee?
It depends. It would depend on the history.
Okay, so it's not with the company. It's with the job order or with the
not necessarily.
With the relationship.
Like I said, you're creating a hypothetical, so you can't really answer a hypothetical because there's
it's not a hypothetical because I've had it happen to me in the past.
Who's this?
And then
is this Paul?
This is Paul. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've had this happen to me in the past where I made a referral.
There's a lot of vagueness in this industry.
Yeah, there is.
You would agree, right?
Look. Don't make me mute everyone so I could close the show. I want to thank everybody who's been on. The great Jimmy Durbin, I loved his work today, challenging our guest. Paul Littman, I want to thank him very much for helping me with the ad. Michael G. Cox got a few words in there. I don't know if Paul S. Baird was, Richard S. Baird was listening. Almost forgot his name now. The great Jerry Albright, Maureen Sherab, busy on Twitter. Although I have to tell you, I think Jeff and Jerry were kind of right. The Twitter channel, in relation to this show, has almost dried up. We used to have like 40 or 80 tweets. There's not that many anymore. People just aren't doing it. I don't know why.
I miss those days. And, that was a good time back then, though. Back before everybody knew what a complete time suck Twitter was and a waste of time.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Last message. I got a new sponsor. You'll find out about him next week.
Oh,
Everybody,
wait.
did I thank the guest, Jeff Anderton? Thank you!